Let me open this can up. I got a tall boy. Excuse me. Sorry. Long day at work. Let me just dry that throat out a little bit. Have you been having a good time with Christmas? Did you? I bet you weren't planning for today to happen, eh? Yeah, me neither. But the Father works in mysterious ways. It's a very true thing. And tonight, as my father's son, I'm a Leo, born at 26 degrees Leo. De Janeiro. I'm no sparrow. I am the lion. I'm not denying. I'm not crying. I'm here, testifying. Here we go. My name is Johnny I Spy, and I've been sent from the Father just to tell you why. I'm not going to cry. And tonight we are definitely going to fly. Are you ready for it? So my roommate brings home, as a New Year's present, I wasn't anticipating her to bring home a couple cans of beer, right? And she had no idea what the Father has been talking to me about all day long. No, she hasn't. She has no idea what the Father is talking to me about, right? She has no conception or understanding or the depth of thought to take on astrology as I am with my practice. So what did she bring home? What kind of beers? It's a true thing. Alley Cap. 2 of them, Alley Cap. Kind of funny, right? It is absolutely delirious. And she didn't bring home 1 Alley Cap, she brought home 2. It is absolutely a true thing. I cannot believe it. And I've been studying all day. I've been studying it all day long. And when we go through these charts right here, you are never going to believe, not for a moment, how much of a cat's eye I actually have. Holy cow! Like my father. I mean, this podcast is going to be so freaky. It's going to be crazy cheeky, right? I mean, the Father will show you how much he likes to make a joke of things, right? For my entire life to be an archivalist, I would never have thought last year that I would be sitting here on New Year's having a beer with you, celebrating New Year's, and then to be able to share my conscious vision with you so your conscious vision can become mine. For me to be like Superman, but to share you the fire vision. Because tonight, it's definitely a reflection of a fire vision, right? Like a fire engine, but a fire vision. I'm not even kidding about it. Let me move this chair up. Let me bring this microphone a little bit closer here. Let me get to this. Let's quit battering around. We have 1 cat of Alley Cat. I want to show you more astrological data for you to plan, for you to look at your chart, for you to understand what the Father's trying to talk to you right now. Because I am a Leo. Jupiter in Leo at 12 degrees, 33 seconds. Trine my Saturn in Aries at 33 degrees. And my sun is absolutely positively 2 degrees, 34 minutes, Leo. This is me. What we're talking about is we have my whole tire fire is rigged on the 3 largest planets in nothing but fire. But most importantly, all of them pulling together to hone with the sun, right? This is my rod, right? When you look at my chart, when you go back to my playlist, and you see my connection to Jesus Christ and Santa Claus, because every day, I have no one else to talk to me, right? All I can do is pray, and my Father gives me the charts I will share with you today, right? With my alley cat, right? Cat, K-A-T. Here I am, Johnny I Spy, born Saint Catherine's, right? Remember, this is the podcast of the new year. This is to know that this is for you as an astrologer, because we're all astrologers, man. We all have the ability to look up into the heavens and be astrologers. We all are astrologers in an elementary or infant level, because we all know our sun. We all know when we were born. We know our sun sign, right? How far you want to go from there, it's your call, right? But the way I look at it, the more you look at your charts, the more you look at charts every day, the more you understand the Father is right there breathing on your back, just like in Lord of the Rings when you put that ring on, right? The all-seeing eye of Ra. No matter what religion you are, this is my guitar, right? This is what makes me your sweetest czar, right? Because here I am. I am sitting on the number one avenue in all Canada, right? I'm sitting on a highway called TC1. I am my grandparents' greatest grandson, right? I'm their first grandson. And here I am going to show you how it's all begun, right? It all starts in the bedroom, right? It all starts with the first breath. And it all has to end with how you check out. This is what you're going to learn all about tonight, right? No matter what kind of astrology you are. I don't care what, because until someone sends me an email through my YouTube channel and say, hey, look, here's this video, you just copy that person. Until this happens, it is absolutely impossible to duplicate me as a lifelong astrologer, right? Lifelong. For 30 years, I've been looking at the heavens for 30 solid years with a trained eye for demographics, right? I went to school to be an illustrator, a storyteller, but first I had to learn the demographic of the product I had to sell. So let's go, folks. Let's talk about a relationship of fire. Let's talk about a flame, all right? Let's talk about two souls together above the Father, right? Two souls together above the Father. And let's show you how much they connect with me as an astrologer. Sitting on the number one avenue, Canada. Sitting on the number one avenue. Sitting on the number one street, TC1 in Canada, right? Sitting on the Continental Divide on the east side, right? Leo on the west side. Let's check it all out, right? Let me show you what 2024 to 2026 is all about, right? Above all the rest, here I am, solid. I'll have a beer with you, right? I'll be better than the Prime Minister himself today. I will be your neighbor. Two souls. Check it in, check it out, right? That's what it's all about on the Banff Avenue, right? So you ready to get Banffed? Let's get Banffed. First off, we have Mr. Oppenheimer here. What did Mr. Oppenheimer do? Eh? He is who, right? He is who? He is the daddy of the first A-bomb, right? Mr. Oppenheimer, right? He is born, let's look at his numerology, okay? Let's start off with the numerology, basic and simple, just for the birthday, right? 4th month, April. 2, which is 4, which is 8. 8 and 1 is 9. 9 and 9 is 18, which is 9 again. Plus 4 is 13, brings us back to 4, okay? This is a cardinal sign. This is a cardinal podcast. That's why I'm having a beer. I'm being cardinal with you tonight, right? It's 4 cardinal angles of the zodiac, right? So, we won't have to look at his death right now. But don't you worry. I could prove that this chart will lead this chart of these two people will absolutely marry up to my chart, just like a puzzle and all the other charts I've showed you so far. In my pursuit of what? Being this season, what has this pursuit? What am I pursuing? What have I been pursuing on social media. If you look at my playlist, I've been pursuing the star, right? The star is the most solid the star is the most solid thing you will find in the Jesus story, the Star of Bethlehem, right? So it has been in my Father's interest to place in my heart to pursue that star through time, to come up with over 100 charts that lead to many other charts, including individuals who have absolutely hung their identification tag on the star. And tonight, J. Robert Oppenheimer, right? J. Robert Oppenheimer. J. Robert Oppenheimer. Holy cow, that alley cat is good. Maybe I shouldn't drink alley cat on an empty stomach and do this with you, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? Here we go. You know, everyone wants to be half cut, right? Well, let's see what his half cut was all about, right? So here we go. We're going to go with Oppenheimer right here. First off, let's look at his chart and see how his life marries up to mine, right? First off, his sun is semi-sextile my ascendant, all right? Because I have a Gemini ascendant at 1 degree 55 minutes, okay? 3 minutes out, semi-sextile. His moon is in Cancer. His moon is in Cancer, right? 23 degrees. That would absolutely sextile my Uranus, right? It would also trine my Neptune at 21 degrees. My Uranus sextile would be at 21 degrees Virgo, and then it would also be sextile my Pluto at 18 degrees Virgo, almost 19, right? Then he has a Mercury at 21 degrees that would be sextile my Uranus again, and then it would be trine my Jupiter. As you can see, it plays through. His Aries would be 11 degree 30. This gentleman was absolutely born for me to study, okay? And for me to study and share with you on the spot. Johnny, I spy, I'm the guy. I will get you high just by telling you why tonight. So his Aries, his Venus in Aries, 11 degrees, 32 minutes. It's actually 2 minutes out from being 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes and 1 second out from being a perfect conjunct to my Saturn. And then same with his Mars would be 1 degree and 4 minutes out from conjuncting with my Saturn. Then this is really going to get you right here. His Jupiter is at Aries, 12 degrees, 1 minute out with conjunction with my Saturn, which would trine my Jupiter in Leo at 12 degrees. Remember, when you look at the chart, the chart has to line up to your material for you to thoroughly understand how God is talking to you in his speed, right? Two rods, right? Oppenheimer and mine. My rod is connected to the Father, which is connected to him. So we're moving on. Saturn. Aquarius, 19 degrees. There you go. 19 degrees Aquarius. So easy. Oppose my Jupiter, right? So, and then so much more, right? And then we have then his Uranus is at 29 degrees. 29 degrees. Wants to be into Capricorn, right? 29 degrees. Look at that. Isn't that amazing or what? And then we have his Neptune at 3 degrees Cancer, which would be trine my Mars once again, right? 333. Look at this. 333, right? And then his Pluto at 19 degrees. His Pluto at 19 degrees would absolutely be doing what? His Pluto at 19 degrees would square my Pluto in Virgo at 18 degrees, almost 19 degrees. And then the square that would set to my Uranus in Virgo. So you can see right there. And you're absolutely going to love this. I'm not even going to, like, this is the icing on the cake. You want the icing on the cake? This is the icing on the cake. Look at the mean node. 25 degrees, 52 minutes, 59 seconds. What's that doing? It's opposed my natal moon in Pisces at 26 degrees, 30 odd something minutes, right? 50 odd something minutes, sorry, my fault. Look at his Chiron, right? Where do we find his Chiron? we find his Chiron at 0 degrees Aquarius opposed my natal sun at 2 degrees Leo. His Chiron would actually be conjunct the location of the star for 2020 on December 21st. That's where his Chiron is, right? I'm not even kidding about it. Craziness, isn't it? Isn't it all? Okay, so this is our Oppenheimer, right? This is our blistering boom boom. Baby, I'm telling you, this is Oppenheimer, right? Look at him. Look at the chart. Now we're going to move through the charts here, really quick here, right? We only have so much time. You get to. This is, you know what? Let's take a look. Let me creep up. Let me creep up here. Let's be a creeper on this one. Who is this person? the if you can't read, I'll make it bigger, but I'll give you, while I'm zooming, I will give you a hint. It was a beer I'm putting in here. How did someone, a colleague of my roommate, didn't want some beers that were left for her from her, as a tip, this is a situation with my roommate. So her colleague gives my roommate the beers, right? And how does the roommate, and it's two of them. It's supposed to be the second coming thing, right? Two begotten sons. I'm born in St. Catherine. I mean, the only difference here, it's a funny thing because it's called Alley Cat. It's apricot, right? It's apricot beer, apricot ale. And what is the father's message? What is the father's message in this? I'm going to tell you about it right now. Because what is she? She is what? You got to look at this chart, right? When you look at her chart, her sun is 15 degrees Leo, right? Her sun is in the camp of Jupiter, right? Sagittarius. This is her sun, right? As an intellect, as a scientist, as a botanist, right? We all know her story. And look at her moon is. Her moon is 23 degrees Virgo, and her moon is perfectly conjunct my Uranus, right? Her moon is opposed my Pisces moon. Her moon is sextile my Neptune. Holy cow, woman, right? Her Mercury at 3 degrees is absolutely positively what? Her Mercury at 3 degrees Virgo is absolutely positively what? Sextile my Mars and Scorpio. It's exalted, right? And then her Venus is conjunct my Mercury, but her Venus is also trine my Neptune. Her Mars is sextile my Mars. Look at this. It's absolutely amazing when you look at this person's chart. Her Jupiter in Libra is conjunct my part of fortune. Her Saturn in Taurus, you're just going to love this one. Her Saturn in Taurus is doing what? Her Saturn in Taurus at 6 degrees is conjunct my North Node. Perfectly. Without just minutes, right? Minutes. Her Uranus in Capricorn is trine my Uranus, right? 1 minute out and 1 degree out. Not even, just 1 degree out. And then it's going to be, her Uranus is going to be sextile my natal moon, right? Look at this. It's actually sextile my natal Neptune. It's just unbelievable, right? Not to mention her Uranus is going to be opposed by Mercury. Absolutely crazy, right? Look at her Neptune. Neptune is 20 degrees Cancer as well, which is going to be perfectly trine. It's not even just a few minutes out from my trine my Neptune, right? And then her Pluto, you're gonna love this one. This is where the friction is, right? What is her Pluto doing? Her Pluto is at 27 degrees, perfectly squared. It's just a little bit. It's not even a minute. It's not even a minute out, right? It's a few minutes out, 30 minutes out or something. If that many. She's not even 30 minutes out, but her Pluto is absolutely squared my natal moon. What is her Chiron? Her Chiron is Trine. Her Chiron is Trine my natal Mars. My natal Mars in Scorpio at 3 degrees in my sixth house of service to others. My sixth house, my Mars in Scorpio. In the sixth house, the world is a chaotic nightmare. And I've been sent to assist in turning it around, right? You know the Mars in the sixth house. Oppose my natal incarnation, right? Okay, so here we go. Lilith, once again, Lilith is at 15 degrees. I tell you, in the charts, how they meet up, right? Because what we're going to do now that we've gone over her planets and we see the charts, and we see that both charts absolutely perfectly connect to my chart within minutes. That's why I'm preordained, predestined to make this New Year's Eve report. So your consciousness will be with mine. Without looking at one book, not making one personal reference to just looking at the puzzles and understanding the basic operations of our natal planets in their houses in operation, right? And our daily operation. So we move to the third chart, and what do? We see the two working together as a union, right? We look at them and we look at how they're tightly assembled, right? As two individuals. I think they both. I believe they both died at the same age, 62, but at different times. The charts I have for you are they're divinely given to me, right? You wake up and the charts are there in your head. I wasn't planning this yesterday. I had no idea this time yesterday I was actually going to get this podcast. I had no idea whatsoever. I wake up and the Father has the meal plan in front of me, right? My Father puts the whole entire schedule of the day together just so I could give you this podcast, so I could give you the information and not mess up with anything else, He wants me to do this right now. He has shown me that taking pictures alone is just simply not enough to help the world. Here we go. Remember, I want you to remember, I was taken up by my business partner when I let this person know that my entire wedding business was going to be astrologically done, and individuals that wanted to get married would let me actually look at their charts and show them the reasons and the forecast how their wedding will go, and how their after honeymoon would be like, right? To avoid a divorce. This was the plan. Okay. I was the divine witness. I was the photographer, right? It's a true thing. Now here we go. Here we go, folks. Here we have a woman. She's German, right? And here's the chart, right? Let's take a look at it. How the two line up is absolutely beautiful, right? Oppenheimer is on the inside, okay? He's on the inside. And Catherine, Catherine, her nickname was actually Kitty, right? So here we go. Let's take a look at how Kitty, hangs out with Bob, right? This is how it works. Kitty and Bob hanging out together, and they were definitely a pair for time. And you're going to see this. You can see how beautiful the Father's finger truly is, as we just, scroll right through this. You'll see how much and how honest I am with the craft, and how much the Father. I'm not here for money, right? I'm here because of the Father, right? I have no plans of making astrology my business. It is not my vision as an artist, right? This is something my Father has placed in me to share with you, to show you how much divinely I'm connected to you, to these individuals, through the stars and only through the stars, right? Because the stars are His planets. This is His solar system, is a residence, right? Okay, so here we go. Katie, let's look at her. I mean, let's look at her Pluto, right? I mean, she wanted a boom boom, right? I mean, if you look at the story of Katie, and if you look at her Pluto, start off with the first chart, her Pluto is 19 degrees Gemini, 7 degrees, it's Gemini, 19 degrees Gemini, 7 minutes, 30 seconds, right? So her Pluto is just right there. I mean, you can look at it. It's his, it's, I mean, she was his fate, right? Look at the 12th house. Past life karmas, future life karmas, right? And we're going to show you right through all the charts. We're going to show how their lives work together, right? How the Father made these two people to be with each other, to do one thing, right? To focus a whole lot of fire in one spot. And then, here we go. Venus. Look at her Venus. Her Venus is where? Her Venus is 11 degrees, 32 minutes. Her Venus, and once again, conjunct my Saturn. But her Venus at 11 degrees, I mean, it's just on the cusp of the second house. And then Neptune has her Neptune, look at her Neptune, 20 degrees, right? 20 degrees. Her Venus, once again, her Venus is 16 degrees, 58 minutes, which is conjunct my Mercury. But look at that. It's right on his second house, right? Second house. It's a perfect conjunction of his second house. And the second house is what? Self-worth, right? Self-worth opposed related self-worth. And look how her Venus is opposed. Look how her Venus is opposed his Chiron, right? The guy had so much. You gotta wonder where his space was. If you know the whole story, if you know the whole story of Oppenheimer, I mean, how much pain he must have had to carry, after seeing so many people instantly removed off the map because of his science, right? Of the science that was given to him by creation. I mean, by his incarnation. And it shows this right through his whole entire chart. When you look through his chart, if you look at his chart, it's unbelievable. I mean, this is a meal you just can't even put down all at one time, right? When you're looking here, let's just go through the planets, right? Because you have the sun, right? Her sun is at 1 degree. His sun's at 1 degree Taurus. Her sun's at 15 degrees Leo, right? And then look at his Saturn. His Saturn's at 19 degrees Aquarius, right? So you have a sun feeding Saturn in Aquarius. And Aquarius rules the partnership. Like Aquarius is the partnership sign for Leo, right? When you look at that, and look where her Uranus is at 20. Her Uranus wants to be 1 degree Capricorn. This is her Uranus. It's in Sagittarius, but it wants to be that Capricorn. It's on that trade over energy, right? There's a trade over energy when you understand how important Uranus is to the sun, because the sun pulls Uranus over. Every time he laps Uranus, he pulls Uranus over. That's what he does. His magnetism pulls him over. And when you look at it, you look how that alignment is in the chart, and understanding that, Uranus is this whole entire Aquarius thing, this whole entire demolitionist, this whole entire disruptive age, age of much disruption. Holy cow! Let's look at that degree, 29 degrees. When you look at that, when you look at 29 degree part, Sagittarius, and you go into Capricorn, that's where he is. And look at the Pluto. See her Pluto opposition? Her Pluto opposition. Look at the Pluto opposition, right? Her Pluto opposition is what? 27 degrees, 29 minutes. It's It's just a degree out, right? And what we're gonna, I mean, you look at these individuals and how they were born at different times, and how the charts marry up so much like this, and how these charts bring us to right now, right this very moment. These two charts bring us to this, and it's all tied in with the star, as you will see. No other astrologers bringing this forward. I don't know why. This information is absolutely crazy. So, let's look at the wedding day of the two. All right. I mean, it's two individuals, right? These two, it's a husband and wife thing. Kitty and Bobby, Once again, Robert's on the inside. Bobby, right? And as I said, my father's name is Robert, and my grandfather's name is Robert, and his grandfather's name was Robert, all the way back to Lochrannoch, right? So I know all about Robert, right? My dad's nickname was Bobby, right? So here we go. Let's take a look at them. I mean, this is their wedding day, and to go through this quickly, because we've looked at the charts, you're going to see this. I'm going to pull this through here, and I'm going to show you their wedding day. I'm going to show you how crazy this whole entire. I mean, you got to look at this. It's unbelievable. Let me make sure. Is this really true? This might be no. I think this is actually right. I wanted to make sure on this. But yeah, it was Saturday. Let me double check here. Let me just double check. Make sure he didn't make a foul here. Going through here. I'm sorry. Just want to make sure I'm completely prepared here. But I think so. Yeah, 1940. Okay? Sorry, guys. The father gives me this information so quickly, and I want to make sure that I'm right here. The divorce with her ex-husband, which is absolutely hilarious because her ex-husband was Richard Stewart, and I hear my last name is Stewart, right? All the way through this. I mean, here, kitty, 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 meow. And the father keeps on putting all these cats smiley, and the thing is, I had this precognition, right? Some astrologer says you don't get clairvoyance through astrology, but I do. I definitely have clairvoyance through astrology. I'm confirming it to you. I'm confirming it with you right now. Astrologers who say that they can't have a clairvoyance through astrology using it every day, they don't use enough astrology. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now let's look at this, right? I'm quite honest with you. Look at this. I'm doing this chart. I mean, I've done all kinds of charts around these two, right? But the father gave me these charts today, right? These are bang on his charts, okay? On this day of their marriage, I want you to look at Jupiter and Saturn, okay? And once again, Robert's on the inside, okay? It's 11 degrees on the inside. It's 11 degrees. It's Aquarius house, okay? It's Aquarius house. We have Venus in the Aquarius house. We have Jupiter in this Aquarius house. Look at this. All this Aquarius energy with you got an Aries and a Taurus on the latter part. The house is almost dissected, and the sun's just on the second part of the house, like. But look at these two, eh? The father is he's something else, right? Because his Mars, Robert's Mars is 11 degrees Taurus, right? That's what his Mars is. I'm not kidding with you. And my Venus is 10 degrees. My Venus wants to be 11 degrees. My Venus wants to be 11 degrees Virgo, right? So it'd be perfect trine to my Venus. And then same with his Mercury. His Mercury is 21 degrees. Look at the conjunction here. On this date, His Mercury is 21 degrees, and it's absolutely trine my natal Uranus. My Uranus, I mean, it's like perfect. The trine is absolutely freaking perfect. It's like just a few minutes out. A few. I'm going to meet a few. I mean, like 3 or 4. I can't see exactly what it is here. But when you go to my chart on my other YouTube, um, video about me and my connections to Santa Claus and Jesus Christ, you'll see this. I'm only here for the Father. I mean, the Father is the only person that's powering this whole entire deal right now, right? I went to school to be an illustrator, right? I want to be a painter. Every day I got paints, I got all this kind of stuff. But no, the Father wants me to do this right now for YouTube. Because I'm him. I'm he. I'm Mr. Mystery, right? What makes me like I am? Because when my energy is talking to the Father, this is what he gives me. We all have consciousness that are designed to do something. I have an overactive Gemini nerve, right? Gemini, you said at 1 minute and 55 degrees. That's me, okay? So let's look at this. Look at how the planets are all lined up. But Jupiter and Saturn, look at the degree here. I'm going to bring it down. I got all large here. Look at Jupiter and Saturn, right? They're both in retrograde, okay? She got divorced the day before. Why? So she can remarry. And look at the degrees. Look at the degrees that they're together, right? But most importantly, when you look at this stuff, right? The stars is doing its thing in their lives. 10 degrees, 11 degrees, and there's not another astrologer bringing this forward to you. And no matter how many subscribers they have, they don't have this information because they're not me, right? They're not the Father, Son. I'm him. 30 years I've doubted. Why was I given this, right? Because as soon as I walked in the band, I was given this. And now that I have a chart casting system, at every single moment of the day I'm able to cast charts, it's because the Father wants me to know he put me here for a reason. Next chart, okay? Once again, his incarnation is 26 degrees, right? 57 minutes. I think my moon is at 26 degrees, 55 minutes. I mean, look at that. And look where the Neptune is here, right? When you look at the chart here, look at the Neptune. The Neptune is absolutely 26 degrees, 49 minutes. And what's so crazy about the Neptune is right now, what's so crazy about this is the Neptune here is absolutely opposed. Neptune right now today is in the full moon waxing period of this Neptune transit of his incarnation. Do you understand why I need a beard to go through this stuff? Holy cow, man. This stuff gives me shivers up the spine to know that the Father's looking at us this much through two souls, right? That actually, these two souls together gave each other some kind of comfort while they played around in Hell's Kitchen, right? Because that's exactly what he did. And he admitted it. He admitted that he was playing around in Hell's Kitchen, you know? I mean, you've married the hottest wife around, a woman with a son. I mean, and Leo in the Jupiter house of Leo. I mean, Jupiter wants to combust and be the second son. What else is there? Is there one thing else? I mean, when you look at the moon, when you look at this date, because this day is November 2nd, right? Let's look at the sun. Let's put the sun first, right? Where's the sun? The sun is at 10 degrees Scorpio, which is conjunct my natal Mars and trine and squared my natal Jupiter and trine or sextile my natal Venus, right? It's perfect, right? Holy cow. And then the moon is in 20 degrees Sagittarius, which is absolutely squared my natal Uranus in the 5th house, which is ruled by the Father. Saturn, 11 degrees, Taurus. Look at this. It's absolutely crazy, right? How much this lines up with me. Okay, let's move on to the next chart. I mean, it's all relaxed, right? It's off the cuff. It's just me being with you, the Father, Son, right? heaven talks to the earth, and in order, the earth is ruled by, the first earth sign is Taurus, right? The Father talks to the earth, and the first earth sign is Taurus that rules the ear, so we could hear him with through me. Channeling right from the Father right now, because he is choked, right? He is choked all about World War III. He is absolutely choked about this place. Because remember, it's these rebellious planets which rule what's going on, right? You don't see entertainers out there like, Mick Jagger, financing Russia. Is Mick Jagger financing Russia? I don't think so. Okay, so here we go. Atomic conception of atomic. I thought this was. It's not that I thought. It's what he told me to put up here. Right? This is his selection. Conception of atomic war. Right? After these two people get married together, there's this conception, and once again, Robert on the inside. These are his events. FDR, good old Franklin D. Roosevelt. Okay, he on this date at this time, basically on this date, high noon, whatever, Washington D.C. On this date, he decided that the Manhattan Project was important. He decided that the Manhattan Project was absolutely, it was a need, right? It was definitely a need. Supposedly we only get what we need, right? So, with the conception of the Manhattan Project, look at this. Would you absolutely look at this? Here's the conception of the Manhattan Project. This is the podcast of all podcasts tonight. Here we are, Mars. Okay, at the top of the chart, right? With Venus. Mars is where? When we look at Venus, 11 degrees. When we look at this right here, this Mars right here, his Venus is at, what? His Venus is at 11 degrees, right? And then when we look at Mars, it's at 7 degrees. But it's there conjunct, right? It's there connected, but it's in between. Mars is, see, the thing is, the reason why it's not perfectly conjunct Venus or Jupiter, Mars is, this is Aries, right? This is the house of Mars, right? And Venus is there visiting, and Jupiter's there. And Mars is saying, this is what we need, right? It's... What are we going to do with our gold? How are we going to trade? How are we going to take many, many, many trades? And look at this. Would you look at this point, right? Because this right here, this Mars is actually, what is it doing? This transit of Mars is, still making it, it's making a trine to my Jupiter, right? It's the war. Mars is the war. But where's Pluto, right? What's going on with Jupiter? Look how Jupiter is sitting there. Right? The Jupiter's sitting there. And where is Jupiter? Because remember back here, this is when they got married. They got married back here in Taurus, right? When we looked at that time when they got married. Look where Mercury is. Mercury's at 21 degrees. Where is Mercury at in this chart? Mercury is where Uranus will be. Mercury is where his chart, in his natal chart, 21 degrees, his Mercury, look at this, I want to show you this, is where the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction will happen in 2024. I absolutely cannot believe that I'm the only astrologer on YouTube that's giving you this information right now. There's a lot of astrologers. There's a lot of bigwigs on astrologers. All kinds of tens of thousands more followers than me. But I freak a lot of people out with how much information I could give them in a very short period of time, right? Because I'm a magnet, right? Just like the Father. I'm the Father's son, right? We're all tied to him, remember? That's why I'm talking to you. And that's why, how many other Leos are out there? How many Leos are astrologers on YouTube that are born with my birthday, with my constellation? Okay, now let's move on here with this date. Because we have this is the big one, right? Because it's the devastation that goes with war, right? And Uranus is the wrecking ball that causes the devastation. And look at the moon, right? So what do we have? Let's take a look at this really quick here. Let's absolutely take a look at this really quick here. Saturn, Uranus, Moon. on the outside. Moon is Gemini. Holy cow, really? Are you kidding me? 3 degrees, 46 minutes? That's 2 degrees from, but it's also that 3 degree part. What's important about that is that's actually sextile my moon, right? Or not my moon, that's sextile my natal sun, right? Just 30 minutes, 10 minutes out. Gemini, right? But it's also, it's also, the moon is also conjunct my ascendant at 1 degrees 55 minutes at this time period, right? And that's how I know the breadcrumbs, right? This is how I absolutely know the breadcrumbs. Mercury. Mercury's at, what's Mercury doing? Mercury is at 10 degrees Scorpio, right? I mean, look at this conjunction. I mean, this is actually a conjunction. This is actually a conjunction with my Mars, but also a sextile of my Venus, right? But we see what's going on here. We see what the matters at play. We see what these ruling planets are all about. And when we look at Pluto, which rules plutonium, when we look at Pluto, it's at 19 degrees Gemini. Is his chart, but it's 5 degrees Leo, which is the Pluto was absolutely conjunct my natal sun, right? 2 degrees out, 2 degrees absolutely out, and what is that? That's opposed. Pluto is opposed his natal Chiron, right? Look at this. And look at where Chiron is. Chiron is sitting there. His Chiron is sitting there. Well, look what he's doing. Look what Chiron is actually doing. It's 12 degrees. His Chiron is perfectly conjunct my Jupiter 2 degrees out. How is it possible that all the charts link together with me if I'm not who I claim I am? I definitely am, right? Holy cow. How is it possible? For the god of death, right? Mr. Look at it. His Pluto, his natal Pluto is 19 degrees. It's his natal Pluto. And in his, that is like nearly conjunct his ascendant, right? If you look at his ascendant's at 27 degrees. His natal Pluto's in there in that last decant place, right? What does that decant, like when you look at his natal Pluto, it's on the cusp. Gemini, Libra. So you got a mixture of Saturn and Venus in that Gemini, right? The guy died of lung. The guy died of throat cancer from smoking, right? He was a chain smoker. Look where Pluto is. He's smoking on. He's like chuffing on death right there. But I mean, what? I mean, do you require more as you cause more harm, or do you get closer to causing more harm? I mean, what increases that need from nicotine when you got Pluto sitting in there? Okay, so here we go. This is the induction point. This is where he was pulled into the. This is where he was registered and brought to the Manhattan Project. This is what made it all happen. This is the date. All right, here we are, and we're looking at this is 1941. It's been a year after they got together. Here's Saturn still hanging out with Uranus, right? Where is Saturn and Uranus right here, 2 degrees out. Saturn is still at Uranus's back door. Saturn is absolutely sawing away at his back door, right? Holy, Saturn's sawing away at Uranus's back door right there, in retrograde. Look at the retrogrades here. It's absolutely on this day. Holy cow! Re. And what's Pluto doing? Pluto's on in retrograde. It's crazy, right? 19 degrees Taurus. These semi-sextiles and in conjuncts, in conjuncts are, we're not supposed to put that much weight on them, but they're always there, right? They're always doing their jobs. I mean, everything is doing its job the way it's supposed to be. I mean, there's these important parts. Look at the transit of the node, right? When we're looking at the true node, 26, the true node is coming up on his node, right? He's gonna have a. I mean, it's on its way. It's absolutely on its way, guys. Isn't this crazy or what? The Father has absolutely given me this information for you tonight, right? I mean, all day long, he's pouring this information right into me. I mean, when you look at Mars retrograde, there's a Mars absolutely retrograde. On this, there's a Mars retrograde. It's like we got to reform. We got to like reboot. We got to like rebuild our Mars. Right? And Venus, this is it. Like, we got to refit our Mars. That's exactly what it is. Because when they did having these bombs, this is a complete refitting, right? This is refitting Mars. This is, I mean, and Aquarius, right? I mean, look at the transit of his house, 11 degrees. Look at this Aquarius house happening, right? Absolute craziness, right? We're moving on to some more here. Let's go on here because we can see this all. We can see how it's all playing out in his life, right? And Jupiter is, there with taskmasters there. They passed his Mercury. Where are these two together? When you look at these two together, two of the three stooges, right? Saturn and Uranus together. How do we got this going here, right? These are his. Here's where Saturn and Uranus is right here, Taurus. Okay, 27, 29. What's the moon doing, right? 14 degrees Scorpio. The moon is waxing the event. All right, look at this Mercury. Mercury retrograde even. With the Mercury retrograde, 9 degrees Scorpio, sextile my natal Venus at 10 degrees. My natal Venus wants to be 11 degrees Virgo, but not quite, right? So that's my natal Venus. There's that. So there's that 9 Mercury. Mercury and Scorpio, ruled by Mars. That's right on the carryover period. To the second decan, but he's moving the other way, right? He's refitting. He's got to refit that Mars. So, what happens during that retrograde? Look at Venus right here. Venus is at 12 degrees in Sagittarius, and it's absolutely. I mean, in Sagittarius, that 12 degrees is in that Martian decant of Sagittarius. And that Venus is absolutely trying my Jupiter, right? That worth of information of what's happening at that time period is feeding my Jupiter at 12 degrees 33. The Jupiter Leo, 12 degrees 33 minutes, is this section of the sky all about higher learning from Jupiter, right? And that's why this event happened, for me to bring this to you today, okay? So that's this chart of induction to the Manhattan Project, right? So what's next? Oh, sorry, I went the wrong way. Hope it didn't hurt your eyes. Oh my Lord, the podcast is getting weird. All right, here we go. I should have drank that beer. Just kidding. Okay, it's good to review all this stuff, right? There's the induction. This is the what? This is the actual project. This is when they decided. This is when they decided on the section of land they were going to have the project on. Okay, this is how it was. They were always going to be there, but they didn't have a pinpoint location for the test, right? So this is when they came up with this part right here, 1942. This is Uranus and Gemini. What is Uranus and Gemini doing? Because back here, this chart right here, back at this chart right here, we see where Uranus is at retrograde. Okay? Uranus is at retrograde 29 degrees, right? 29 degrees Taurus, 31 minutes retrograde. This is where he is, and look at where his Sagittarius is, right? Look where their Uranus is in Sagittarius, right? It wants to be into Capricorn, right? That's where, but that's Saturn. Yeah, see how that is? I'm not kidding. This is Saturn here, 19 degrees Aquarius. Okay, so when we look at this chart right here, we can see Uranus is crossed over, yeah? Uranus is like 2 degrees now. 2 degrees Gemini, 33 minutes. This is when they decide. This is how clairvoyancy works. Because I'm a Gemini, 1 degree, 55 minutes, and when they absolutely decided where the test would absolutely be on this date, you can look it up. You can look this date up yourself on Wikipedia. I could actually show this to you. You will see that he is right there, right? Uranus is right there at 2 degrees. Right there, 2 degrees, 33 minutes. It's only like 38 minutes, right? I mean, I'm 1 degree, 55 minutes, 37 minutes. You know, when you look at this, 33 minutes, right? So you got 38 minutes. It's, how close do you want it to be? I mean, it's the father. It's absolutely the father, right? I'm only here for one reason. I'm only here because of him, right? This is our, I mean, this is our time, right? I mean, when you look at this, I mean, when you look at the moon, where is the moon? The moon is at 4 degrees Cancer. It's connected right to his Neptune, right? I mean, within a day's time, it won't be out of this house. And then you have to look at the moon at 4 degrees Cancer. It's trine my Mars, right? My daily work is the 6th house. It's in semi-sextile. It's semi-sextile my moon, my sun, and I'm a sun in Leo at 2 degrees 33 minutes. So that's like 12 house experiences, right? Right? Who the hell was I? I mean, and that's something the Father won't let me have yet. in my last incarnation, because I'm a moon in Pisces at 26 degrees, like 55 minutes, right? So there's all kinds of past lives in this person. So here we go. Moving on to the next chart. We're almost done with this, guys. The Trinity test. The Trinity test. This is July. This sometime has gone on there, a few years. When we look at this one right here, this is 42. So 3 years later, we're ready to test. Right? This is what we're doing. We're going to test it here, right here. This is the town that's closest to it, right here. And what do we have? We have Uranus. And where is Uranus? We have Uranus, as we said before in our last podcast. Uranus is at 15 degrees, 35 minutes, Gemini, right? And we line all these planets up, right, for this test. I mean, we look at the moon, 14 degrees Libra, right? There's an Aquarius. There's a Saturn Aquarius at 19 degrees. Look at that. And then we have, look at all the connections here, folks. Isn't it crazy? Let me read it through here. The incarnation of the test is at 9 degrees Cancer, which would be this test would be conjunct my Mercury, okay? The Pluto here at 9 degrees Leo is the Pluto, right? And when we look at that placement, when we look where he has an empty third house, but across the way, that Pluto is absolutely sitting across his natal Chiron, okay? And then we have the Mercury thing, right? Because Mercury is his ruling. He's a Gemini ascendant. So he's got a Mercury rulership on his ascendant, right? So when you look at Mercury in Leo, and where's that Mercury at? His Mercury is at 19 degrees, 21 minutes Leo, right? That's where his Mercury, that's where the transit Mercury would be. And look at how that Mercury is squaring his Mercury, okay? Look at the square. It's beautiful. Absolutely, just, this is going to be 22 degrees, but, but there's a Mercury, there's a square there, you can see it. The Venus is 11 degrees, and it's at night in transit. Venus is absolutely sextile, right? Sextile his Venus, because the test paid off, right? When you look at his Venus, okay, Larry, look at Aries right here. right? And here's this Venus right here. See how it's sextile? Looking at it, and it's 12th house of karma, right? This is 12th house is Karma Neptune operations right here. And then you have Mars in a Venus house. He's going to get paid, right? And then there's the node right there. What's the node doing? As I said before, the node is 9 degrees Cancer, which is like just 4 degrees away from my Mercury. And then the node is sextile my Venus, and the node is trine my Mars, right? And look at this. Look at this Virgo, right? It's absolutely crazy. With the Chiron. Okay, so we're moving on. You can see how this sets up. Look at the Saturn and Venus. When you look at Saturn and Venus right here, it's 15 degrees Capricorn. Like his Saturn is 15 degrees. The transit of Saturn is 15 degrees Cancer. Coming up on us. Look what the Sun is as well. Look what the Sun is absolutely doing. It's 23 degrees Cancer, and look how the Sun is conjunct his Sun. Or look how the Sun is conjunct his moon. I'm saying, look how perfect this is for this date. I do not believe there's not one other astrology channel on YouTube that has come forward with this information, right? I don't get any of them, right? I don't get it. Because I've been sitting on over 1,000 charts. I know what I pay for Astron. I know what I pay for my annual thing. I know how many charts I get. And then I have all my charts that are on my phone, right? And then and then I have the 20 years that I have, actually the 30 years of I have, because it's been about 30 years of studying astrology for me, right? But I've been in the church ever since 3 years old, right? That's how it's been. It's my earliest memory. It's about 3. So here we go. What's next? Okay, because this is the test. Okay, and you just look at these lineups. They're absolutely unreal. Jupiter, and this is what is important about these lineups, folks. What's important about these is we're marching toward these lineups, all right? But the difference about all this right now is let me go back here. Oh, this is the Trinity test, okay? But what the difference about all this right now is that Pluto is in his waxing full moon cycle for this time period that we're in right now. And when we get to 25, 26, it's going to be just like this. The lineup is so uncanny. Oh, it's how it is. But the only thing different about this 1945 date. What am I saying? It's going to be very close anyway. It's exactly what I'm saying. This date, what makes us different is Pluto's in Aquarius, right? It's 84 years later. Pluto's in Aquarius. It's the full moon cycle of Pluto like this. And Pluto, ruling plutonium, is in the house of Aquarius, ruling uranium, right? And disruption. And radical change. Uranus is someone, believe me, I had an Aquarius mother of 1 degree Aquarius, right? She's born on the 21st. She was born on the very first day of Aquarius. You gotta wonder what my mother was about. She was the woman that prepared me for the end of the world, right? She was the woman that prepared me for the apocalypse. It was before I was even in high school. I was seeing movies like Thief in the Night, right? Not high school, but before I was even in kindergarten, I was seeing movies Thief in the Night, right? Where did all the people go? The rapture, right? The rapture is completely different if man doesn't get his mind together for this. Okay, so here we go. This is it goes through all the charts here. What I'll do here, because I don't want to make this last forever for you. Let's pull this out of screen mode. I mean, it's already been enough. I mean, how much information do you have to see here? This is the first test. Then we come up to this right here, because it works, right? The bomb works. So let's make Hiroshima happen, right? This is the next thing. Hiroshima happens, okay? Sorry, the cat is getting to me. It's a big beer for me. So here we are. Hiroshima happens, okay? And his chart is right like so. I mean, when you look at this stuff. But when you look at the Pluto-Sun conjunction, there's a Pluto-Sun conjunction here. 9 degrees. The Sun is, when this thing happens, when Hiroshima happens, the Sun is absolutely perfectly just a few minutes out conjunct my natal Jupiter, right? The Sun, in this event, the Sun is absolutely feeding the intelligence of my higher learning of my natal Jupiter in the 4th house at 13 degrees, 33 minutes Leo, okay? Remember, he's a Taurus, right? And a Taurus, the solar Taurus house is the 10th house for Leo, right? It's my career, right? His Sun feeds my career because his Sun is squared, has friction with my natal Sun at 2 degrees, 34 minutes Leo, okay? You gotta understand how this fits together with me and how I'm observing it and how it can help you, right? Because there's no one even, I've been predestined to judge all who are living and who are dead, right? That have come and gone since the death of Christ and since the birth of Christ. This is what my chart says, and this is the reason why no one else is doing what I'm doing before you tonight at this degree of perfection, right? Because look at Jupiter, okay? Look at Jupiter right here. Jupiter is this higher learning thing, right? Jupiter is the shock wave of the bomb, right? 26 degrees, 17 minutes, perfectly opposed my natal moon in my 11th house of Aquarius, right? But my moon is Pisces, right? I mean, it's as close as you want to be. I mean, Jupiter's sitting perfectly right there. And look at Mercury. Mercury in Virgo, what's Mercury in Virgo doing? Mercury in Virgo is at 4 degrees. Look at this. Mercury in Virgo is at 4 degrees, perfectly conjunct by what? My cusp of my fifth house, which is ruled by Leo, which is ruled by the Sun. Virgo is my caretaking, right? That's what I am. Look, how many politicians do you know that have a Venus Virgo? We're caretakers. Venus is that 2nd house for Leo, right? That Mercury house, that trading house. Okay, so when we look at this, look how all this sits, right? There's no planets on this side of the chart whatsoever. 5th, 6th. I mean, when you look at its 4th house planets, I mean, look at this. Look how tight these planets are with that 4th house. This is the moon house, right? This is the Cancer house overlapping Mercury, right? And look at Mercury is absolutely at home, right? Mercury is at home in Virgo, right? That Mercury, you know? And then we have the Sun and Pluto conjunct in that 3rd house, communications. And then you have the Saturn and the Moon together. What is Saturn and the Moon doing? The Moon's at 18 degrees, which is conjunct my natal Mercury, right, for this blast. And what's it doing? What's it doing with Saturn, right? Saturn and the Moon are absolutely perfect, right? I mean, the Moon is just catching up. The Moon is getting ready to eclipse Saturn, right? It's on the cusp. Right? Holy cow. Look at that. The Moon, which is Khonshu, you know, is holding the sickle, right? 1 and 8 is 9. 9 and 1 is 10. Plus 3 is 4. It's a cardinal. Hey, look at that cardinal moment. Okay. Nakazaki, do we have to do it again? All right. It's like an instant replay. I'll scroll right through this. You can see how it all hooks up, right? The poor guy, right? Holy cow! No wonder he smoked himself to death. He was he was definitely a fire rod, right? Holy cow! Now, yep. I mean, you can see it. I mean, it's just a repeat of the other chart. Now let's look at his death. Here's his death right here. This is very important because it's Pluto, right? So when we look at his death, the day that he passed away of throat cancer, he died in his sleep. He died in his sleep, and you can see how the chart sits with his. So I mean, look at Jupiter, right? Jupiter is at 25 degrees. Look at this. This is the day he's dying. 25. It's just moving over his moon, right? He's getting ready to travel, right? Jupiter's that traveler, so he's in retrograde. And look at the Uranus. Look at the Uranus and the Pluto retrograde. Look at where his node is at 26 degrees, and Uranus is at 23. And see, this is the beautiful thing about Uranus, because he's next to the node, but that 23 degrees is absolutely like it's a 6-minute orb, right? It's a 6-minute orb with his moon, his natal moon, right? In the fourth house. Remember Dane in the fourth house? And then retrograde, the underworld. Pluto's there with the underworld. And look at him. Pluto's sitting right there, 19 degrees for the time of his death. And as I said before, this is 19 degrees Virgo, and my Pluto is at 18 degrees Virgo, right? As I said, every single time I cast a chart, it all lines up to me, right? I mean, it's the fascination of this. I'm like, how does this keep on being possible whenever I do this? Because it gets to the point where it's not working. The Father says, look at this right here, right? Look at the incarnation. Look at the incarnation, folks. The node. Where is the node? What is the degree? 9 degrees, 46 minutes. Taurus is the node. And his Mars right there, 11 degrees, 37 minutes. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? And then look at the 10th house. The Saturn house in Pisces. And look what's going on here. I mean, look at the sun. Where's the sun? Where is the sun? But at 28 degrees, 51 minutes, Aquarius, right? That's where the sun is. Absolutely. Well, the thing is that's a sextile. That's still like a sextile to his sun, right? And then the moon, the moon would be, I think the moon is actually, what is it? The moon is semi-sextile to his Neptune in Cancer, right? It's crazy how it all perfectly lines up here. But that Uranus is very important, right? And then the moon timing is very important as well on that 5-degree mark. Because you see, there is a connection here with these two right here. And then look at the Trine to Chiron. Look at the Trine to Chiron there. 1 degrees Mars. Look at the great thing about this. This is the keeper right here. It's the keeper right here. Mars opposed Sun. Mars opposed Sun. Look at this. Right here. Mars opposed Sun. 1 degrees Scorpio. Almost 2 degrees Taurus. Just on that waxing, right? That waxing. And finally, love. His love of his life. They both died. I believe they both died in 60. They both died in they both died at 62. Look at this. You're gonna love this one right here. Her chart. This is the time of her death. Okay, this is the transit of her death. I didn't have her. You could place this. You could actually do this on your own. I just want to show you this because she's dying, right? And the question is she going to see him in the afterlife, right? This is the question. And what does the father say? Okay, here we go. Is she going to see him in the afterlife? Well, let's take a look at Saturn, right? Saturn is retrograde. She's returning to the Earth. Okay, Saturn's retrograde. And where is Saturn in his retrograde? Saturn's at 20 degrees in his retrograde, right? And what is it? That's his Pluto, right? That's his legacy, right? That's beautiful, right? Right there. And then we have the moon. Where's the moon going to be? 15 degrees Cancer. I mean, at the time of death here I have casted, that moon is near my Mercury. Once again, it connects. But if it's later in the day, most importantly, right? If it's later in the day, you guys, what time of day was it? But the moon was doing what? Her moon was connecting with his moon, right? It's beautiful. It's a love story. Look at it. Our self-worth marks our soul, right? Look what her moon is. And then we got to look at this other stuff here too, eh? We got the sun at 1 degree 58 minutes. Taurus is where he was. And the sun is where? The sun in Scorpio. She's definitely going to see him. You know, it's right there. It's beautiful, isn't it? This is the transit of when she's leaving. She's going to see him, right? It's a romance. It's a pretty romance, isn't it? And look at the Jupiter, the traveler. Look at Jupiter. Look what the Jupiter is. You know, look where the Jupiter is, right? Jupiter is 4 degrees Capricorn, right? 4 degrees Capricorn. It's opposed his Neptune, right? Look at it's opposed to his Neptune. Beautiful chart, and it's also near his. It's also near his Uranus because his Uranus wants to be in Capricorn, right? And you can see the Aries. You can see the transit of Aries, 14 degrees. Or for the Aries, with 14 degrees Aries for the Chiron. There's always found. Yep, there it is. It's Jupiter. Yeah. She was his healer, and he was her healer, right? And she was, she was, she was on a trip to go see him, right? So, guys, it's been a long live event. It is as unedited as it could be. Sorry, I can't talk anymore. I've had a whole can. I just had the last swallow of this. That's all the drink I'll have tonight. I had it with you. It's my New Year's beer with you. Showing you the Oppenheimers, right? Yeah. Hope you had a good time knowing the Oppenheimers. Yeah, they really had an impact on us all, haven't they? Hopefully we learn how to focus their energy. And I didn't even get a chance to really look through all this stuff, but this is her. This is Kitty. I mean, there's so much information, right? But this is information right on Wikipedia, of course. And, this is her. I mean, I tell you, the way she married him, I mean, she really went after that guy. She wanted him. He was Mr. Boom Boom, Blistering Boom with her. I mean, he was the guy, and she needed him. All right, look, I'll let you go. All the best. And thanks a lot, Robert, for giving me a great study. See? Gemini, long nose, just like me, okay? Remember, Gemini, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, okay? Talk to you later, and I'll see you on the flip side.